Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hello Hump Day. We are interviewing Miss Conde Bartlett today, and I'm going to go ahead and read her bio for those of you who don't know her. Conde is the owner of Divine Momentum and the founder of Manifesting Unlimited Abundance Facebook group, where she helps healers, coaches, and spiritual entrepreneurs manifest an abundant income and make an impact in the world doing what they love. We all want to make an impact. Conde is a modern mystic who was born into a family of people with extraordinary supernatural gifts. Her unique abilities allow her to see what is possible for people and clear what's been holding them back from manifesting their heart's desires. Conde is a world-renowned intuitive healer and a channel for the collective. She is a catalyst for change and a strategist for personal and spiritual fulfillment. She facilitates change in minutes when normally it could not be accomplished in years, if at all. Welcome, Conde.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Dottie, for inviting me, and thank you, audience, for being here.
Yay, Kathy is here with us today, so that's awesome.
It is awesome.
So, Conde, I have known you for a very long time. I think you were one of the first people I met when I started my business.
Oh, really?
And what you were doing then is very different from what you are doing now.
Correct.
So I have two really big questions for you. The first is, how did you start where you were, where I met you?
Okay.
And then what was your journey like to evolve into what you are now?
Oh, my goodness.
I know, those are two really
Let's see if I can be really concise and not blather on.
Well, we have half an hour. We're good.
Okay. Let's see. How did I get here? Well, entrepreneurial speaking, I was influenced by my dad, who was an entrepreneur. He had like a little watch shop, and he fixed watches and jewelry, and I would go there and help him in the summer, and I would fix watches and clocks. I would take them apart and put them back together. And so maybe that's kind of how this kind of seeing what's possible thing happened, is that I'm able to kind of take that same kind of experience and take things apart and put them back together in a new way, that kind of that reinventing sort of thing. So how did I get here? Well, it was a long journey. I think, let's see, the best way to say this is, and it's kind of leaning into this whole fail thing that you put in the promotion for this thing. I would say this is one of my fail stories, is that for the longest time, I was born into this family of incredible, extraordinary people. My dad could bilocate. He could give readings to people, past, present, and future, with incredible accuracy. My mother, my sister talked telepathically. I was healed of epilepsy when I was 4 years old. And all that being said, I thought my family was normal. It wasn't until I know it wasn't until I got to school that I realized this really wasn't normal, and that other people's families didn't have these types of skill sets. And so it wasn't until I was like 20 that I really, probably high school age, really before then, that I really decided I was going to be normal. And that led to several years of being chronically ill. And then I almost lost my life, and I spent a night in the ICU and a good solid week in the hospital with plenty of time to think about things. And I realized that being normal was killing me. And
so you were trying to force yourself to be like everybody else.
Well, I was trying to be somebody else. I wasn't even myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't love myself. I wasn't loving my life. It was a joke. And so this was kind of like my rerouting from the universe. It was like, oh, this thing about being normal, maybe it's time for you to really think about what your purpose is here, and maybe start, understanding more about yourself, loving yourself a little. So while I was laying in that hospital bed, I had plenty of time to think. And I'm like, okay, what's missing? What's got to change? Number one was I really want to find a natural way for my body to heal and reclaim my health completely. Right. So that was my number one goal. My second, actually, my first goal was really that I had lost my connection to divine source, God, love, whatever you call it, whatever your higher power is. I lost it. I was not connected anymore. And I had this idea that I was doing this all alone. Life was happening to me, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sad. And I'm in the hospital. And so I made those two choices. And when I left the hospital, I went out on a journey and I started to work with every single practitioner I could find to find a way to heal. I probably worked with over 100 people. Some were just quacks and fakes, and it was awful. And then I finally found somebody that I really resonated with. And at the end of the time working with her, she was like, I think you probably ought to learn how to do this since you're already trained with these frequencies to use this type of modality. You should learn how to do this to help your friends and family. And that sounded fantastic. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so at the same time, my husband and I was on this spiritual journey. We had been visiting this place here in Portland called New Renaissance Bookshop. And we had been renting all these videos, learning about all these different new types of modalities and all sorts of supernatural things and epigenetics and mindset and all sorts of healing things. And so when I went to the website that this lady had given me to sign up for the class, which was in Hollywood, I noticed that they were having like a movie premiere. There was like a conference that they were having. And when I brought up the screen for the conference, it actually was an outline with all the pictures exactly of all the videos we had rented. All the people that we had watched the videos for were in this panel of people that were being presented. And I brought my husband over and I'm like, look at this. And he's like, I think you're going. So
yeah, that's a sign if you've ever heard one or seen one.
So that I went away. I learned how to do this thing to heal people. It was a certain modality. And I came back and I had this voice in my head. It's still there. And it says, get out there, Conde. People are waiting for you to help them heal. And so I immediately started my business, this healing practice that I had that was helping people with chronic illness, and put up a shingle, got some really bad brochures, a terrible website that would have made you laugh. And
well, I think that's what you were doing when I met you.
That's correct. So that's my pre-story to all of that. And I went about for probably a good solid, maybe 10 years doing that business and really focusing on people with chronic illness. I started a Facebook group for women with fibromyalgia. And my Facebook group was like teaching them how to heal, self-heal, teaching them what I knew about healing, how I'd help different people heal with different things. Incredible stories of just like spontaneous healing I shared there. And I had 9,000 women in that group.
That's a lot.
9,000 women from all over the world who had fibromyalgia. And it was one of those things. This is like another fail for me because I wasn't listening to my own guidance. I wasn't listening to my intuition about this. And it just felt wrong. It felt
what
bad.
Were you listening to?
Pardon?
What were you listening to instead?
What was I was listening to a coach that thought this was a good idea for me.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It makes sense that this would be the next step. And there's a lot of people that I could help. And so I was like, yeah, I could help these people. But the thing is, I chose a group of people that really didn't want my help. They didn't think they could heal. And so that to me was kind of, we could think of that as a fail. And really the definition of fail is, that we didn't accomplish a goal. But thank God I didn't accomplish this goal because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Just like a lot of other things that I used to be an accountant. I trained to be a legal secretary. Thank God I'm not a legal secretary.
That would not have matched well with you at all.
No, like you want what, when, what? No. So, so thank God there was that reroute. I actually had started making a program. I had built a membership to sell to women with fibromyalgia to help them heal. It had all these different wonderful components. And that was kind of like the day that I launched that. You may remember this because it was sort of a monumental day. It was like a day when both Facebook and Instagram went down for the whole day.
Oh,
That
I
was my
do
launch
remember
day.
that day.
I was traveling. I was in Hollywood again on business. And my daughter looked at me and she said, "Why did you do this?"
Like you crashed Facebook?
Yes, that's what she said. I can't take the blame for that. But so luckily for me, that membership didn't fill up, and I ended up just kind of closing the chapter. I had that group with 9,000 women. It was draining me. It didn't feed my soul. It didn't make me happy. It didn't spark joy. It wasn't a good experience. And so I finally just said, this is not what I'm called to do. And so I sat with it and I was like, okay, I'm willing to see things differently. I'm willing to understand what it is I'm really here to do. What brings me the most joy was my question.
Okay.
I started writing things down, and what most joy was really working with people who are spiritual entrepreneurs, whose businesses make a huge difference in the world, who they're looking to expand their own spiritual gifts, do their work in the world, be paid well, right? And helping them achieve those things and go further, go beyond what they thought was possible and manifest even more. And that's what got me excited. That's where my joy was. And I'm like, okay. So I decided, I was talking to one of the gals from the fibro group who was actually helping me. She was the admin, one of the admins for the group. And I said, either I need to close this group or I need to find someone else who can take this over, because this is no longer feeding my soul. It's a drain. I feel depleted here. And so she offered to take it on. And she's actually one of my success stories.
Yay.
She actually has made some huge strides, and she continues to run that group. And then about this time last year, I started the Manifesting Unlimited Abundance group and started calling in my tribe of people who are here to make a big difference in the world, who may be on a spiritual path, but most certainly are in business and are really wanting more in their lives. They want to experience happiness on a personal level. They want to experience financial freedom and abundance. They want it all, right?
Don't we all?
I know. So that's been a godsend, and it's been interesting for me because now I'm listening to my intuition when I get little nudges. And about 2 years ago, I got a nudge. I had a physical office that I had professionally decorated. I was very attached to it. It was gorgeous. And I got a nudge from Spirit that said, hey, pack up all your stuff and move home. Take your business home. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to question this. I'm just going to go with it.
This was before COVID?
It was a year before COVID.
Okay.
Or several months before COVID anyway. So I packed up everything. I brought my business home. I learned how to do an online business. And so I say now to people, please listen to your intuition. Please grow your intuition, because it's like the easy button. It's like your easy button, because you have access to this huge database of information. You could know anything. You could get direction from anything. You could find a solution for anything.
So how do you get in touch with your intuition if that's something you've never really done before?
Pardon me?
How would you get in touch with your intuition if that's something you've never really done?
You start by asking questions, because everybody has an innate ability to use intuition. Everybody has intuition. They just aren't using it. And so an easy
So is
way,
that kind of like when I say, let me sleep on it?
possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the thing that comes, when you're in the shower, and get all the good ideas. That's intuition.
Okay.
It's what happens when you're not resisting and you're in this kind of state of relaxation. So one of the things I tell people is that abundance is relaxed. If you are manifesting things and you're all stressed out and you're in a twizzle, and you're like, oh, it's got to happen this way. It's got to be purple. It's got to have yellow polka dots. It's got to come on Tuesday. That's going to be a problem. It's not going to manifest the way that you would like it to.
So I should tell my husband I need a spa day every week.
Yes, probably so.
Okay.
I think you deserve it, Dottie.
Note to self.
So I think there is a gift in taking time and being quiet and relaxing. This, having this kind of reinventing yourself kind of thing, listening to your intuition, but also doing this like in a really kind way, where you're compassionate, where you're giving yourself love, where you're nurturing yourself, where you're just in adoration, where you have this sense of worthiness and you have a sense of self, and you come from that place, and everything that you give from that place is going to be magnificent. Anything that you can dream of from that place is going to manifest pretty quickly. So did I answer both your questions?
You did.
I'm not sure.
And Kathy commented that you
Yeah.
have such an interesting story, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I have an interesting story, but also the people that I work with also have interesting stories. And I think more than anything else, it's really being able to see things differently. And sometimes that means getting help in order to get clarity about what's going on. When I first started, I was probably like a couple of years into business. I had a client that came in, and he had just started a business. And I said to him, I'm like, well, what are your revenue goals for your business? And he started to tell me, and then he's like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I have this much money in savings. And so I'll keep doing this, that, and the other thing until all the savings is gone. And then I'll probably get a loan. I'm like, no. What is your intention for how much money you're going to bring into your business? And he's like, well, I hadn't thought of that.
A lot of people haven't.
Right. And so if you're listening to this right now and you don't have a goal for your revenue, even if it's $5, right? That's a problem. So really start thinking about setting some really clear goals for yourself about what it is. So this person, he had no goal. He was just going to use up his savings, and then he was going to go into debt. And that was his plan. And I said, well, wait a minute. When was the last time you felt really good about how much money you made? And he's like, well, I probably felt really good when I made about 60,000 a year. And I'm like, okay, well, could that be your goal? Because you've already done that before. Would it be feasible for you to do that given your business? And he said, sure. And so I heard from him a couple of years ago. He was making like $250,000 a year. He had hired a staff, and his business just keeps growing. And that's just one of the stories that I have. I love seeing people make this transformation, but it really starts with your own self-concept.
So was that what really kicked him in the butt to get going?
Well, there were several things. I mean, I have a very simple process that I take people through, and it really is going into clearing out limiting belief systems. Like, he had a lot of limiting belief systems about money, about what he could do, about how he could do it, about being capable, and really working through releasing those limiting belief systems. He also had suffered a trauma where he had lost 2 babies. He and his wife had lost 2 babies. He had taken a lot of responsibility on for that. He had a lot of guilt and shame about that. And when you have these really heavy emotions that are like traumatic experiences that have happened to you, that you've like internalized somehow and taken responsibility for, those can change how you show up in the world, of course. They can change how you show up in the world. They can change how you receive things, how you give things. And it can block you really manifesting your heart's desire, whatever that is. And so we just started working on self-forgiveness, and we started working on limiting beliefs, and we just kind of worked through the process. And I like things to be really simple and easy for people. I don't like things to be complicated. I don't want them to take a long time. I teach people to use different self-help tools that are super powerful, but they've got fast results, like the EFT tapping stuff, and using them with an essential oil, which makes them even faster. So I like sharing tools with my clients that just have a powerful impact and make that shift from that place of not, feeling like they're enough to feeling like they're capable, or feeling like they're worthy, and feeling like they can do it. That really lights me up, because I see so many people, especially healers, who just settle for less. They settle for less because they don't feel like they're worthy. There's a bunch of stuff about money being bad. Money's got a bad rap with spiritual folk. And so that's not true. Money is just energy, and it's what the meaning we put on things, like the meaning we put on failure, right? We failed at this, when it's just another chance to do something different, maybe even something better.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, thank goodness I'm not a legal secretary somewhere, or an accountant.
I would have never met you.
Doing somebody's books. And the thing about all those different things, it was great to try those things, and it's good to have that knowledge, but it didn't really bring me joy. It didn't make me happy. And so one of the things that's really crucial to know is that a lot of people have this idea that I'll be happy. They have this template. I'll be happy when, right? I'll be happy when my business launches, or my program launches, or my book sells, or I get this certain amount of clients, or I have the partner that I love, or I have the car, or I have the house, or I have the motorboat, or whatever it is. Probably not you. You don't want a motorboat, but right. But the thing is to be happy now, to feel good in your own skin now. And then things just start popping, like manifestation starts popping. And then you can see all the possibilities that are available to you, where before you might have been blinded by some limiting belief about your own worth, and not feeling like you deserve that thing. So you wouldn't even see that it was possible for you.
Yeah.
So
Kathy commented that, yes, the inner work is more important than people realize.
It is. It's
which
crucial.
is so true.
It is. And it doesn't have to be hard, is the thing. It doesn't have to take years. It doesn't have to take months. It can be simple. It can be fast. And transformation within your life can happen in a short amount of time. We're talking 3 to 6 months or less. I mean, I had one client who came to me. He was like a shaman. He was like an executive coach. And he came to me and he said, my guides are telling me, so it's going to be an interesting conversation when somebody starts with, my guides are telling me. My guides are telling me that I'm supposed to coach this person who is a governor who becomes president
of the United States.
I know. In order to do that, I have to work on these 5 things. He had a list.
Okay.
I like motivated people,
Yeah. He knew what his list was.
He knew what his list was, but that was a fraction of what really was what he had to work on. So he brought the list. He's like, so can you help me? Oh, by the way, he says, I'd like to make $40,000 a month. I'm like, okay, I'm checking in. I'm like, let me listen for a minute. Can we do this? And I'm hearing a yes, we can do this. And I'm like, okay. I said, by the way, what are you making right now? He's like $3,000 a month.
That's
and
a big gap.
by the way, he wanted to do it in a month.
Okay.
So we met every week for a month. By the end of the month, I think he was making $38,000.
Wow.
And by the next month, he was making 40. So I mean, I have a belief that anything is possible. And I know that to be true because everything's made up of energy.
Right.
Everything is part of this quantum field that we're in. So everything is changeable.
So if you're stuck, you can change it.
You can. Yeah.
That's important for people to realize, because a
It
lot
is.
of people get stuck in one thing or another,
Mhm.
and they just feel like that's it for them. They just got to figure out how to manage it.
Yeah, but no. No, man, I'm like, don't manage it. I'm like, climb over the seat, get in the driver's seat and drive the car. Decide where you're going to go. Look at a map, maybe.
Yeah.
Make some choices, but start leading your life. You make the choice. This is not a passive thing.
Yeah.
Life is not passive. So why not choose something you'd really love and aim at that rather than something you're going to settle for or something you can figure out on a spreadsheet? Pick something that would make you jump out of bed in the morning, that you'd be that excited to live that life, to be that person, to do those things.
Mhm.
And then set your intention on that and just say, I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to do what's necessary. I'm willing to stay in alignment. I'm willing to master my emotions and not let them control me anymore. I'm willing to let go of my past. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to expand. I'm willing to see what's possible for my life. And I'm willing to be of service to other people. And I'm willing to change, even if that means changing my identity to become the best version of myself. All
That's
that's
exciting.
possible.
So you mentioned willing to change or get in control of your emotions. Do you
Yes.
want to mention your free ebook that will be available in the group?
I do. So yes, I wrote an ebook that is basically the guide to using EFT tapping with essential oils to release things that don't feel good, emotions that, I mean, a lot of us have a lot of unresolved emotions, and it's just because we don't know what to do with them
Mhm.
other than stuff them. And if you're a stuffer, I love you. I used to be a stuffer. I was a good one. And that was part of my chronic illness. But I don't recommend it. So what I tell my clients is it's a 3-step process. It starts with an awareness that you don't feel good. So it's like just
Mhm.
being aware in a very loving way that you're not feeling a good emotion, right? An awareness. And then accept it. Okay, I feel angry, or I feel guilty, or I feel ashamed, or I feel bad. Maybe you don't even know what it feels like or what the emotion is, but you know you feel bad, right? And then you start doing some tapping. You just tell the story about why you're feeling bad and you just do the tapping. Or you just say, I want to feel better, and you just do the tapping. You do an essential oil, you do the tapping. It's super easy. It's so simple. Kids can do it. What's that? Your
Wild
oil.
orange.
Wild orange. Yes. So it's super easy to learn. There's no wrong way to do it. And it's like incredibly powerful. In fact, it's the fastest way to rewire your brain for success and happiness and release negative stuff from your past, memories, trauma. They use it for PTSD, for weight loss, for lowering stress and anxiety. So yes.
Awesome. And you are giving that away free. There
I
is a
am
link
giving that away for
in the
free.
Business Divas Facebook group.
Yay.
We will also put a link in the comments after this video is done. And we're just about out of time. So was there any leaving message you wanted to leave with, or are we good?
I guess I would like to let people know that they have more power than they think they do. And to just start making choices about how you'd like your life to be. And hopefully those are choices that include your happiness.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, Dottie. This was wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing and being so open, Conde. Hopefully you have touched something in everybody that listens to this. I'm so looking forward to seeing and reading the comments after people have listened. So thank you so much. And next week we have Dr. Teresa Pantanella, and she is actually Facebook, Instagram marketing expert. And we're going to learn how she became her travels from being a doctor to being what she's doing now. And we will see. So thank you so much. Everybody have a great week, and hopefully you are halfway to your goal this week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.